An often overlooked gem of a camera is the Canon 7D. We're talking about the original 7D and not the Mark II. The Canon 7D appeared in 2009, making it 10 years old. It's a rugged, reliable, and versatile DSLR, and they go from $200 to $300 US, and that's with the battery and a charger. When the 7D was first introduced, it cost $1,699 US dollars. The 7D is loaded with professional DSLR features. I also shoot with the Canon 5D Mark III, which nowadays runs around $1,600 used. You could buy around 5 7Ds for the price of one 5D Mark III. Here's a few specs. It supports 18 megapixels. The ISO ranges from 100 to 6400 and is expandable to ISO 12,800. It has 19 autofocus points. It uses LPE6 batteries, the same as the 5D series. It has a titanium alloy body, making it almost indestructible. This is one tough camera that can take a really severe beating. The 7D also shoots 1080p video. Video can be recorded at 1920 by 1080 at 30 or 24 frames per second. There's a 720 mode, 1280 by 720 at 60 frames per second, or you can shoot at 640 by 480 at 60 frames per second. I have no idea why anybody would want to use that. Movie mode is selected just like on the Canon 5D series via a switch near the viewfinder. This camera takes really nice video. The 7D is an APS-C sensor-based camera and again supports 18 megapixels. If you aren't familiar with APS-C or crop sensors, they have an image area less than full-frame cameras. Full-frame DSLRs, such as the Canon 5D and 6D series, have an image area equivalent roughly to a 35mm film camera. This is really important when choosing a lens to shoot with, since there's a crop factor of 1.6 for Canon cameras. Just be aware that you have to multiply the focal length of the lens you're using by 1.6 to get the true focal length of that lens. For example, in this video, I shot with a Canon Nifty 50 50mm lens. It's not really 50mm on an APS-C sensor-based camera such as the 7D. The true focal length is 50 times 1.6, which is 80mm. That puts the lens in the mild telephoto range. If I wanted to shoot with something near 50mm, I would have used a 35mm lens, where 1.6 times 35 is equal to 56mm. The autofocusing modes are very robust and can handle any shooting situation I can think of. The modes are single point autofocus, where you manually select one of the 19 autofocus points, zone autofocus, where the autofocus points are divided into 5 selectable zones which you can change on the fly, Auto Select, where the 7D will select one or more of the autofocus points to give you the best focus it can. Spot Autofocus, which is the same as single point autofocus but with a smaller focus area selected. Autofocus Point Expansion, where the adjacent points around the one that was manually selected are utilized. And all this coupled with single shot, AI, and AI servo focusing modes covers all the bases. The 7D is a great camera to shoot events such as air shows, sporting events, weddings, and the like. If you want to enter the world of event photography and want a professional quality camera, consider a 7D. For sporting events, the 7D really shines due to high-speed continuous shooting. The 7D shoots at 8 frames per second. This allows you to capture subjects on a playing field that will outshine other cameras. 8 frames per second using AI servo and zone focusing will make your shots stand head and shoulders above others. Check this out. Here's the 7D shooting at 8 frames per second. Sorry about the video quality, but I was just holding it with one hand. .7D sounds like a little machine gun. It's best to shoot in JPEG and not RAW mode when you're in continuous shooting like that, and make sure you have a pretty large CF card. As I said, I shot with the 7D using a Canon f1.8 Nifty 50 lens. This lens costs $125 and is wildly popular in the Canon DSLR world. So, all being said, for a little over $400, you can go out in the world shooting as a professional. To demo the 7D, I shot in the Tenhave Woods nature preserve up the block from where I live. I just wandered around the paths, shooting anything that looked interesting. You can see the 7D takes some pretty nice shots. I like using the little 50mm lens, especially around the f1.8 to 2.0 neighborhood. The little nifty 50 produces spectacular bokeh at these focal lengths. Bokeh is just another word for a blurry background. I lightly process the shots in Lightroom, maybe adjusting exposure, a little tweak here or there. On the last couple of shots, I did a little light painting to the images. This is a simple process of taking the exposure way down in Lightroom, then using a custom brush to quote-unquote paint in some light. It can take an average blah type of shot and turn it into a more interesting image. If anyone's interested in how this is done, just leave a comment below and I'll make a short demo video. As you can see, I shot everything in manual mode. Here are the light painted shots. The original is first and the painted image is second. So to wrap things up, the Canon 7D is a true overlooked gem of a camera. They can be a little hard to find since 7D owners tend to keep them even if they upgrade. It's a great backup or second camera due to its reliability and durability. You cannot go wrong with the 7D. So as always, thanks for watching. This is Jeff and I'll talk with you soon.